I checked my smartphone and saw 13 missed calls. All of them were from my mother-in-law. Not again. Just as I was thinking that, my smartphone vibrated again. Hello? As I answered the call, my mother-in-law raised her voice angrily. Excuse me, is the $2,000 for this month's financial support not yet sent? Yes. I mean the financial support. It hasn't been transferred this month, has it? My mother-in-law was yelling furiously, showing her selfish desires without considering my situation at all. I couldn't take it any more with her. She would reflect on her own words and actions even in this situation, huh? I have no choice but to resort to the last resort. I firmly declared into my smartphone, "Your son passed away, so I cannot provide financial support anymore." My name is Hilda, 32 years old. I'm a working housewife busy at a major financial company. I got married about 2 years ago. I met my beloved husband Carl through our hobbies. He was kind to everyone and I was immediately drawn to his smile. It seemed he felt the same and we got engaged quickly after a year of dating. We both probably believed that we wouldn't meet anyone better than each other. We had been living together since we were dating and decided to marry without having any major arguments. Everything went smoothly for us, but here came one issue. That was the existence of my mother-in-law. His father passed away several years ago, and since Carl has no siblings, the only family member he had was his mother. The trouble started when I visited his family home for the first time to introduce myself for marriage. Nice to meet you. As I bowed slightly, mother-in-law, Mally, clearly showed a displeased expression. Are you Carl's fiancée? Ah, yes, my name is Hilda. You don't seem very impressive. I wonder what my son saw in you. I couldn't tell if she was joking or being serious. I was quite shocked to hear such words from the mother of the man I loved. Seeing my distressed state, Carl spoke sternly to her. Hey, Mom. Why would you say something like that all of a sudden? How can you say such things to the person I brought here willingly? No, Carl, I'm just trying to choose a suitable woman for you, that's all. Choosing. I brought her here because I decided she's the one. You have no right to intervene like this. Don't say such cold things, please. I'm just thinking about you. If you really care about me, just support us wholeheartedly. Why can't you understand such a simple thing? A heavy atmosphere began to flow as a parent-child argument unfolded before me. Since it was my first encounter with Mally, I couldn't mediate. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued, but in the end, we could firmly convey our intention to marry. As we were leaving, she spoke to him somewhat sulkily. Hey, Carl, you'll keep that promise even after you get married, right? That promise? You know, about the financial support. Yeah, I'll take care of that, so don't bring it up here, please. What? I just asked a little question. Their relationship had always been on edge, and the atmosphere was heavy. On the way back in the car, I asked him something that had been bothering me for a while. You know, Carl, what you were talking about with Mally when we were leaving earlier. Yeah, I need to properly inform you too. I heard the word remittance. Since my dad passed away, I have been sending money to my mom every month. How much? $1,300. $1,300? I couldn't help but raise my voice at the substantial amount. He then sighed deeply and started talking slowly. The truth is, my mom, she's in debt. Huh? In debt? From gambling in the past, now she's living while repaying that debt. Her mobility isn't great recently, so she spends a lot of time at home, but she still needs money to live, right? But isn't $1,300 a bit too much? If I reduce the amount, she keeps calling repeatedly. Besides, no matter what, a parent is still a parent. Since she's living alone, I worry about her. I see. I realized Carl really cares a lot for his mother. But of course, he would. Since his father passed away, it has only been Mally. No matter what her personality is like, she is still his dear mother. At that time, all I thought was, he is a kind person. 2 months after we got married, one day, during my lunch break, my smartphone rang. It was a call from Mally. Hello. I answered and she began speaking in a cheerful tone. Hilda, long time no see. I have something to talk about. Is it okay? Yes, what is it? Actually, I want you to start sending me money too. Excuse me? Unable to find the words in response to her unexpected request, I remained silent. But she happily continued talking. We talked about it the other day, didn't we? You work at a financial company, so you must have a good salary, right? No, it's not like that. What, are you planning to lie to avoid giving me money? That's not it. Then what is it? Well, you're already receiving money from Carl, aren't you? To my question, she brazenly replied, well, yes, so? Unable to understand her lack of gratitude, I firmly said, Mally, sending $1,300 every month is a big deal, you know. Despite that, you're asking for more money. Oh, really? So you're saying that if you send an additional $700, Carl won't be troubled, you know? What do you mean by that? Well, I made Carl the co-signer for my loans, so if I can't make the payments, they'll go after him, understand? But isn't some of the $1,300 from him used to repay the debt? Not enough, dear. I haven't told him, but the debt is quite substantial. From her tone, it seemed this was information Carl wasn't aware of. In the future, if we have children, our expenses will increase even more. Moreover, if her repayments lag, the debt might eventually fall on Carl, possibly with significant interest accrued. If I refuse to send money now, it might eventually trouble Carl too. Getting her to repay the loan promptly is the best course of action right now. Thinking so, I sighed and said to Mally, All right, I will send you some money as well. Really? Good on you, Hilda. I knew you would say that. The total with Carl will be $2,000. This means you can properly pay your debt, right? Yes, of course. I should probably be able to pay it off in about a year. You promise? Please make sure to repay it without any delays, okay? I know. Well then, I'll be expecting it starting this month. With that, Mally hung up abruptly. Added stress on top of my exhausting job made me feel even more depressed. $700 every month, that's quite a hit. But it's to prevent future trouble for us. Above all, if Mally can't live properly, it would also upset Carl. That night, I promptly reported the matter to him. He said, You don't have to go to such lengths, but I told him that I had already agreed with Mally, and it was a decision to prevent burdening our future. Throughout the conversation, he wore a sorry look on his face, but he showed understanding, saying, I'm sorry, thank you. Time flew and 2 years have passed since that time. The financial assistance that I thought would end in a year is still ongoing, and we are still transferring $2,000 to her every month. What's more troubling is that about 2 months ago, Carl fell ill and hasn't been able to go to work. He's on medical leave and is receiving sickness benefits, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to his previous salary. Last month, I transferred $2,000 from my savings to Mally as a stopgap, but it will be quite tough if this continues. Unbelievably, she hasn't visited Carl even once. We've reported that he's hospitalized, but she only contacts me asking, You're still sending the money, right? Without showing up to see him. I finally got fed up and brought up the subject with determination to him. You know, Carl, your mom is only thinking about money, even though you're in this state. I think we should seriously consider what to do moving forward. Yeah, I was thinking the same. I don't want to burden you any further. This month, as well, there have been several calls and messages asking, Has the money been sent? Really? Even after hearing that her own son is sick, she only thinks about money? With a somewhat wary look, he openly displayed his anger towards her. Then, as if he had an epiphany, he said, I got it, with a defiant smile on his face. What's up, Carl? Well, it's a last resort, but I've got a good idea. A good idea? Yeah, to Mom. What? What he suggested was a plan beyond imagination. It might be deemed inappropriate, but with the way she is now, it seems like that's the only way to get through to her. A few weeks later on this day, Carl was discharged from the hospital safely. Since there was no response from Mally, no matter how much we contacted her, we hadn't informed her about his discharge. For the past 2 weeks, Mally has been incessantly pressing for the financial assistance. There's no point in providing financial assistance to a mother who doesn't even worry about her son. As we were having tea and enjoying a family moment, a message came in on my smartphone. Upon checking, there were 13 missed calls from Mally. Not again. As I thought that, my smartphone vibrated again. Once again, it was a call from her. Hello? I turned on the speaker so Carl could hear, and she started yelling right away. What the heck? Has this month's $2,000 not been transferred yet? Excuse me? I said the money. It hasn't been transferred this month, has it? Mally, do you realize he is now... I don't care if he's hospitalized or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You have a good job, so you must have a lot of savings, right? Transfer it to me immediately." Mally was screaming in a frenzied state. Eventually, she made a statement that was hard to believe. "Listen, since you married Carl, if he can't pay, you have to pay me. If you refuse, I'll make you a cosigner, okay?" At that moment, something inside me snapped. Without considering her situation at all, she only revealed her desires. I had reached my limit with her. Even in this situation, she doesn't intend to reflect on her actions, huh? At this point, we have no choice but to resort to the last option. I firmly declared into my smartphone. "He has passed away, so we can't send money anymore." At those words, she made a dumbfounded noise. Huh? Yes, this was the last resort that he suggested, lying to her that Carl has died and watching her reaction. If she shows even a hint of sadness and apologizes while reflecting on her past actions, we would continue the financial assistance. If she not only doesn't reflect, but also demands money, we would cut ties completely. That was the plan. Inside, I was thinking this. Even the greedy Mally would deeply reflect on her actions if she was told that her son had died, wouldn't she? However, the next moment, she started laughing loudly. Ha 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 ha! What's so funny? That's how it is, isn't it? Since Carl passed away, it means I'll get a share of the inheritance too, right? Excuse me? I've been researching since I heard he got sick, okay? Listen, 2/3 of his assets may go to you, but 1/3 goes to me. I was at a loss for words. I couldn't believe that the first thing she investigated when she found out her son was ill was not the treatment options, but details about asset distribution. It was more than anger. I was downright flabbergasted. He seemed to feel the same way, and our eyes met. He gave a slow nod. This was the signal to continue the operation as planned. I spoke to her again sternly.
"Mally, were you even listening? He is gone, you know."
"Oh, I heard. So what? Aren't you sad? Your own son passed away before you did." "Well, I was freaking out about losing the financial support, but if there's an inheritance coming, then I guess it's alright." "You have got to be. Anyway, make sure to send 1/3 of it my way, alright? Don't even think about taking off with it all because I won't allow it." The phone clicked off abruptly, the dial tone resonating loudly. Looking at him, I noticed he was shaking, his face flushed with anger. "Carl, are you okay?" When I casually asked, he looked into my eyes and said, "I am cutting ties with that woman. She will probably come here demanding money soon. Let's wait until then." "Yeah, but are you sure about this? Cutting ties just like that?" "Yeah, I have no regrets after that phone call. She's not a mother, not like that." His eyes were filled with hatred. I felt the same way. She cared more about money than her own son's life. Such a person is not family in my eyes. A few days later, just as we expected, Mally barged into our home. I decided to deal with it, asking him to hide in the next room for now. She stormed up to me with a demonic expression. "Hey, hand over Carl's inheritance now." Again, "Don't you have anything else to say? He's already dead, isn't he? No point talking about him now." "How dare you say that when you didn't even visit him during his sickness? Are you really his mother?" "Oh, shut up. Just hand over the inheritance quickly. I'm fine getting a lawyer, you know." Talking further seemed a waste of time. At that moment, he emerged from the neighboring room. Seeing him, her face went pale, as if she'd seen a ghost, and she shrieked, "Ah!" What? Carl? Why? I thought you were dead." "It's been a while, Mom. Sorry, but the news of my death was a lie." A lie? Why would you make such an inappropriate joke?"
"It was to confirm your true nature, Mom. I was wondering how you would handle the financial support issue if I died. But, as expected, you're nothing but scum who only cares about money. It's crystal clear now."
"You! How dare you call your own mother scum?" "Shut up. I'm severing ties with a toxic parent like you." At his loud shout, she stood gaping, unable to process what was happening. She couldn't fully grasp the situation, being disowned by her own son. What does this mean? Carl? Just like I said, I can't consider someone like you as my mother. What about my financial support? There's no way that's happening, right? Handle your debts on your own. We've decided to move. Wait, please, if you do that, my livelihood will. With tears in her eyes, Mally reached out towards Carl. He shook off her hand vigorously and, with a cold gaze, said vehemently, "I don't give a damn about your life. Despite taking advantage of us for so long, you can't even apologize, can you? I'm relieved to know your true nature now. Never show your face to us again." But, Carl, You're planning to abandon your mother? Ignoring her words, he grabbed her arm and dragged her to the entrance. He threw her shoes and bag outside, forcefully expelling Mally from the house. She created a scene outside for a while, but eventually disappeared, perhaps unable to withstand the gaze of the neighbors. Despite numerous attempts to contact us, we ignored all of them. We blocked her number and completed our move. Regarding the co-signing for the debt, since she had unilaterally made Carl the guarantor, the guarantee contract was a null and void, meaning no responsibility for the guarantor arose. Later, we heard she was leading a miserable life without any financial support from us. It's only natural since she didn't use the money we sent her to pay off her debts, but almost entirely blew it on gambling. The pressing matter of the debt still towers over her, with debt collectors hounding her every day. She can no longer indulge in her beloved gambling and seems to be working from dawn till dusk. For the foreseeable future, she won't be able to fully pay off her debts. From here on, she'll have to keep working until she physically can't anymore. This is all her own doing, no doubt. Meanwhile, we are enjoying our days in our new home. Carl's condition had stabilized and he returned to work after a while. Now, there is a new life blossoming in my womb. Next year, our family will grow by one. We want to spend happy days ahead, just the three of us.